Well, thatparkplace.com has just released a bombshell report talking about an in-house propaganda position that the Walt Disney Company is creating in order to stem off negative news about Tiana's Bayou adventure. ABC's very own 2020 has released a special talking about Tiana's Bayou adventure. Imagine the coincidence. In addition, we've got a bombshell report from Mickey Views, that would be Braden, Bob Iger's recent behind-the-scenes tour of the attraction, and some of the alleged takes are pretty spicy. Or maybe you could call them quite bland. Let's talk about that here on That Park Place. Hello, I am Jonas J. Campbell, and with me, as always, is my co-pilot, Vash Sky. Vash, are you ready to talk about the news of the day?
I absolutely am there, Jonas. This was a fascinating couple of stories that kind of hit sequentially with each other all on the same day, which was pretty insane. So I'm happy as a clam to break it down.
Yeah, so for those of you who might not be aware, Splash Mountain, the most popular attraction in the world. We're not just saying that based on our own gut feeling. There was a survey that was released that said that Splash Mountain was in fact the most popular theme park attraction globally, and Disney has 3 of them, or they used to have 3 of them. They've shut down 2 of them. They don't have control of the Tokyo Disneyland version, and in fact, the Tokyo Disneyland version, I hear that it's in pristine condition, and they're revamping it to add more water effects. So yeah, this is something that depending on your view on the attraction itself, you might have to travel halfway across the world in order to experience what it should look like. The report that we're going to start with is out of Mickey Views, which is run by a guy named Braden. And Braden, if you're watching this, we appreciate your work. And we want to point out he's got a stellar track record on reporting on specifically Disney issues and stories that people would want to see. So we just want to say, go over there and check him out if you haven't checked him out. He's got a video that we're not going to go through all of it because we really think that you should watch the video itself.
No, I would absolutely concur with that. Definitely watch him. Definitely check him out. His Twitter account in particular, not just Mickey Views, but his personal Sir Braden account is very, very not only informative, but delightful.
All right, well, let's get into it. This video, which is titled Tiana's Bayou Adventure Goes Rainforest Cafe Mode. We've got these pictures here, which Braden describes as the combination of Rainforest Cafe and also the water tower from Disney Springs. You got this tiara on top of the water tower. Oh, that's adorable, one might say. Or maybe if you're not impressed with it, you wouldn't like it very much. Yeah, this does kind of look like a Rainforest Cafe. They've taken off the iconic spire that was at the top of Splash Mountain, and they replaced it with this generic salt dome here. Actually, I suppose it's not a salt dome. It's a dirt dome. That being said, Louisiana, not really known for its topography. Mostly it's flat, and there's a lot of swampland there. So they're playing around, playing a little loose with it. But of course, don't let the story get in the way of a good narrative there.
Yeah, exactly.
Looks like they're adding in a bunch of plants and artificial foliage here in order to add a little bit more ambiance here. Looks like a lot of flowers and plants. In fact, they're showing off all of these artificial plants hanging here.
I think that was a setup to test these plants to see how they would actually hold up in the climate. I don't know how long they were actually testing them for, but it's interesting because some ex-Imagineers have actually made reference to just how well or not well these things actually hold up over time.
Now, are you saying that they test these things for durability before they install them in the parks?
That is what you're supposed to do. Maybe not necessarily done for every single project and every single specific detail, but the idea is that if you're going to make a large-scale purchase of these things or have them constructed, facilitated, made, whatever, that they actually hold up under that Florida weather as well as you would intend them to.
And also pressure washing, as we might point out.
That's what I was referring to.
You know, if I can kill 2 birds with one stone here, I can reference the fact that we have a video talking about the Epcot lights. Also, the fact that Journey of Water, inspired by Moana, now has an entire section blocked off because they're having water leakage issues, and they are probably going to have to get into the concrete there. We've got a whole video talking about issues across all of the parks as Disney is doing things that they have already done before for a very long time, and somehow they've lost the institutional knowledge in order to take care of this. So the 2 birds, 1 stone here. This is Sir Braden's Twitter handle here, talking about this Walt statue. And looking at this, I really didn't understand what was going on. even with the giant red arrow. It looks like one of the lights here that they've installed, which, as I often like to say on Twitter, this thing is sinister from every angle. It looks like the lights are already out. And this attraction, sorry, it's not really an attraction. It is a section, a garden area, and an urban landscape that is within the park is already having lighting issues. Well, pressure washing those LEDs seems to have taken some of them out. But now this one right here, I'm hoping that it can be easily fixed. One of those is already out. So hopefully Imagineering can fix that pretty soon. Now, to go to a different tweet, this one from Jim Shull, former Imagineer. He was an Imagineer for 33 years with the Walt Disney Company, has worked in Paris. I believe he's worked in Pandora. He says, Pandora has been impressive since it opened. However, during my most recent visit this December, I noticed that the artificial plants have faded or have simply been removed. Artificial looks great when it's first installed, but unless maintained, looks unkept.
So Pandora would have opened up in 2017, if I'm not mistaken, and it's been 6 or so years since it has opened, and already it's already starting to see some things either be removed or maybe not as maintained as one would hope or expect here. And it's, taking a little bit of its toll on this area of the park. Now, I just visited this myself. It looks spectacular, amazing. I mean, it's truly breathtaking when you actually see this in person here. So for first-time visitors, maybe they won't notice, but it is interesting how instead of maybe going away from artificial plants, they're really upping the ante when it comes to artificial plants as connected to this Splash Mountain reimagining.
Upping the ante on artificial plants. Thrilling phrasing right there.
I try.
So now this is not the spiciest part of the video. Well, we're
Right.
getting into the spiciest part of the video. As was reported by Mickey Views, Brayton says that Bob Iger did take a tour of Tiana's Bayou Adventure, the only attraction opening at a U.S. Disney park within 2024. There is nothing that isn't a hotel or a DVC entity or a cruise ship that is opening at a Disney park from now until the end of next year. I might be forgetting something. There might be like a kiosk or maybe a splash pad. I don't think there's even any splash pads. Anyways.
Well, to be fair, Donald's splash pad hasn't officially opened at Disneyland.
That's right.
So maybe
right.
maybe that counts as a new
Do they get to take credit for things that they are reopening that were never finished when they? Anyways, okay, let's move on. Bob Iger toured this thing, and according to an Imagineer, and this is alleged, we're in rumor and speculation territory here, but Brayton has a good track record, so I personally am going to trust him on this. He's saying that Bob Iger toured, and he said that the interior of Tiana's Bayou Adventure was actually really boring. In fact, we have this great still from his video here that says, I don't know if he did this on purpose, but in the still right here, it looks like Bob Iger has a little tiara on his hat, on his head there.
It's painfully fitting, actually, that whole thing.
And the thing that I want to point out here is that the interior of this attraction, we know what the interior of this attraction looks like, and it's in fact quite vibrant. Here we've got all these bright colors, we've got good contrast between the blues and the bright greens. We've got all these smiling people here looking. Here's bre'r Rabbit and bre'r Bear, and this is actually something that I think dreamers of all ages could enjoy. I really don't understand why they're saying that the interior of this is in fact bland. Vash, do you have any comment on why they would say that this is bland?
I have no idea. To me, it screams authentically Walt Disney, distinctly.
Wait. Sorry, this is the wrong picture. Okay, so like we said, they did go on 2020, and ABC, which owns 2020, did do a view of the interior of this ride, and this is what it looks like now.
Now that makes a lot more sense.
This to me looks like the setup. This is where before you pan over on like an Epcot educational ride, when you want to show a real environment, you would have this kind of grassy stuff that looks this to me. If they told me that they installed it in the 1980s, I would believe them, and I would think that the animatronics and the cool stuff is off to the right.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting you say that, Jonas, because looking at it right here, it almost feels like living with the land rather than something that would be part of an attraction featuring an animated film. This is a little bizarre to me, and you can tell that both with the exterior of the attraction and the interior of the attraction, since they can't really do many meaningful physical or structural changes to this, that they're just kind of covering up what they can here with these artificial plants. And it's very obvious.
Yeah, and I don't want to give them too hard of a time here. You have a flower, which it looks like fake flowers, and that's fine. It breaks the magic a little bit if you do too many fake flowers. And over here, the most vibrant thing in the frame is the Imagineers themselves wearing pinks and this dark blue. This dark blue does contrast well. He does look like he fits in the scene. And he does have an iPad. I will say, whatever's on that iPad is probably the most interesting thing. Maybe he'll be standing there the entire time and holding that to show to guests.
Yeah, maybe. Well, speaking of digital technology, however, Braden did say that this was going to be more like what is it? The Navi River Journey attraction over there in Pandora, Animal Kingdom, which to be as fair or as charitable as possible, these scenes that we're seeing here might not have necessarily those effects actually turned on and operating, right? So we can assume that there's going to be projection effects or some kind of Bayou mist maybe in order to.
Yes, they did say that they're doing some amazing things with fog.
Yeah. So let's see how that goes. But I mean, I can definitely see. Look, if Braden's reporting is correct, and there is nothing to assume that he is incorrect here, that Bob Iger has walked through this attraction and said, "This is boring." I can absolutely see why that might be the case from looking at what we're looking at right now. Moreover, this might also explain why the Imagineers have kind of been cagey with, releasing stuff from the interior of this attraction, whether it be artwork or 3D mock-ups or whatever. We haven't really seen all that much, and a lot of people are wondering, why is that? Like, what do you have cooking over there in the Bayou? And apparently, it's nothing, and that might explain why we just simply haven't gotten much from that. Also, too, it might explain why Tokyo is not really interested in redoing their attraction, because they kind of understand what they've come up with is a little bit mediocre.
Yeah. Now, I will say one thing in defense, and I know you would probably agree with me here, Vash. I think, disagree with me if you want to, that the Lewis animatronic looks like that could actually be pretty cool.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But that's the issue, right? We're replacing, in Walt Disney World cases, 68, right? Or in Disneyland's version, I believe it's almost like 100 audio animatronics or so. We're replacing all of those audio animatronics, some of them going back to the 1970s with America Sings and so forth, and we're replacing them with 17 or so. I know they said dozens originally, and as Braden points out, they've now reduced that number down to 17. We're doing 17 figures.
Yeah.
That might be, very, very articulate, but this is a huge attraction, which was built specifically in order to hold as many audio animatronics in it as possible.
Yep, and if you want a thrill ride, there are lots of theme parks that can do a thrill very easily. Now, that 52-foot drop right there at the end of Splash Mountain, it's fun. There are probably people who are showing up for that 52-foot drop, and there are probably people who are showing up for the animatronics. That mixture there is always a little bit funny. This is a princess brand, so there's probably a lot of small children that are not going to be able to enjoy it in the way that they would if there wasn't a 52-foot drop. If you want thrills, there are other theme parks that are better for thrills. If you want animatronics, Disney is pretty much the place to go for that nice childlike feel. Journey of the Little Mermaid. I don't know the name of the Little Mermaid dark ride that is in the new Fantasyland expansion. I say new. It's been there for a while. It's been there since Jay Rizzullo was at the company, in fact.
Nice reference.
That one has a lot of animatronics in it. At the time, I gave that one a hard time because, it's another Omni mover. It's another clamshell ride. But looking at that Ursula animatronic, and obviously we get a little bit of Disco Triton every now and then showing up on social media. But that is one that a little kid would absolutely love. And other than Ursula being scary, is not terrifying to a little kid. You're not asking them to be brave and get on the Little Mermaid ride.
And that's why they've been kind of understating the drop portion of this attraction. That's why one of the reasons why they didn't put anything to replace Chickaman Hill is because they want to actually make this mountain look as small as possible. And that's why we have an oversized water tower, and we're getting oversized kind of these artificial trees here in order to make it so that it's like a reverse force perspective, in order to make it smaller than it actually appears. It still doesn't overcome the issues when it comes to height requirement or just a general fear from little kids who might really be interested in seeing Tiana, the first Black Princess,
which is
represented in the attraction, but they can't.
It was just obviously a 180 from the Michael Eisner approach, where he wanted a thrill ride in his park.
Well, it was about making it as seem as tall as possible, so you actually had a legitimate force perspective applied to that attraction.
Yep. Man, I love talking about these things with you, Vash, because I got a little bit of theme park knowledge that is more than the average person, but you've got it all right there in that noggin. That beautiful brain of yours, Vash. Well, we should probably get on to the end of this video because we've got more to talk about. We will probably be talking about this a little bit more on That Park Place Live, which is Thursdays at noon Eastern time. And if you're allergic to translating time zones, you can, of course, hit the notification bell in order to have YouTube do all the work of figuring out when that is for you. Of course, like this video. If you like this video, consider sharing this out on social media if you know someone who might be interested in Splash Mountain and Tiana's Bayou adventure. Of course, go check out Braden over there from Mickey Views. We love his work, and of course, we'd love to have him on the channel sometime. If you're watching this, Braden, hit me up in the DMs, buddy. And of course, to the rest of you, consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.